Welcome to WagerTalk TV, where I am a little irritated. I just found out I don't get to go to lunch. And the guys are going to my favorite place, Big Chicken. Speaking of big chickens, Kansas Jayhawks playing at Texas Tech. Oh, by the way, this is Marco, at Marco in Vegas. Brian Leonard.
You just brought on Kansas from a Kansas State girl. Can you believe that?
Shocker, isn't it?
Big chickens.
Yeah.
Big chickens. 6-point dogs, though. Okay, Ken Palm made this 6 points.
It's not going to come 6.
No, I'm not saying it is going to come 6, but so this is kind of a weird scenario. So a couple of weeks ago, KU's catching 3 at TCU, and I'm going, there's no way that I'm not taking KU in the spot, which is normally I'd love to fade them on the road. They've been absolutely horrendous. And here they are catching points again versus probably one of the best defenses in the nation. Marco, I'll start with you.
Yeah, you look at this Kansas team, and they've had that 14-year reign on the Big 12. If they want to make it 15, they have to win this game. If they win this game, then it sets up the rematch against your Kansas State team for the Big 12 title, first place. So this is a big game for them. Both teams have a week prep time to come into this game. So you would say there's no advantage there. Both teams have the week. But I actually think it does favor Kansas. We know that Kansas has had a ton of injuries this year. Because of it, they've been forced to put a lot of freshmen into the starting lineup. We know that these big schools, you know, they always turn the people over. But when they put the freshmen in the lineup, it's in November. And by the time we hit February, you know, they're veterans already. They've got the experience. Well, this isn't the lineup that they had at the beginning of the season. So with that extra week to prepare, I think it's going to benefit the younger players, get more of a game plan, more practice time in, and they have been playing better. Kansas, this is a team that they went on the road, won a big game their last time out. They're getting better by the game. I think they can take Texas Tech. You talk about the best defense, Texas Tech, man, the last 4 games, they've held their opponents to 23, 36, 36, and 34% shooting. So Kansas is going to have their work cut out for them. But I see this as a low-scoring game, and I don't see it coming out at 6. Personally, I think it'll probably come out at 4.5 because even though Texas Tech is playing so well, there's still that Kansas bias out there.
There is a Kansas bias, and I'll agree. I think it might come 6, and it might shoot to 4.5 very quickly. Brian, I know you do your own power ratings. Is this number just way too high?
I'm loving this game right now. I made it 7.5. I think this is a terrible matchup for Kansas. Kansas 1-4 straight up their last 5 on the road. The only win in overtime against TCU on the season. 2-6 straight up on the road. You've got a Kansas team who likes to shoot the ball from deep, likes to take the ball to the hoop. Texas Tech only allows 54.5% shooting at the rim. That's excellent. They only allow 27.6 shooting from behind the arc. Excellent. So you've got a team matching up what they do well is what the other team likes to do. And Kansas, as we pointed out, if anybody looked at the schedule, they have not played well on the road, and they had to go to overtime to beat TCU in that game. Kansas, if people did not look and see Kansas and they just saw the stats, there's no way this line comes out to 4.
Marco, I know you and I are both situational bettors. You mentioned Kansas State on deck. Now, Kansas did get a win over Texas Tech and Allen Fieldhouse. They now go on the road. Then they go back to Allen Fieldhouse to play a Kansas State team that beat them for the first time in, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years, as long as I can remember. Does that play into any of this at all?
Well, it would if they weren't needing this game.
So you don't think this is a possible look-ahead spot?
No, because Texas Tech is the other team that's in the mix for the Big 12 championship. They can't lose this game. If they were already in first place and trying to hold on to the Big 12 title, yeah, then I would say, you know, maybe they get caught here with Kansas State revenge on deck. But if they want to keep that streak alive, and you know that the kids don't, this class doesn't want to be the class that breaks the streak. So they're going to come out and play. And I got to ask Brian one question. Do you know who's played the toughest schedule in the country?
I'm assuming you're going to say it's Kansas.
It is. They've played the toughest schedule. Texas Tech has played the 51st toughest. So, I mean, not that they've played an easy schedule, but Kansas has played the toughest schedule, and they've had numerous injuries throughout the year that they've had to juggle this lineup. They've had this lineup now for a few games. I think this team is going to continue to get better down the stretch.
I will make a side bet with you.
Ooh.
Which Kansas against the rest of the Big 12 Who goes farther in the tournament this year?
There's 3 teams.
I was going to say there's 3 or 4 teams.
There's 3 teams. Texas, I think this Big 12. I think is the best conference by far this year.
It's the deepest conference from that area.
The top 4, I think, all have potential to go to the Sweet 16.
I think Kansas hasn't had a lot of success in the tournament. I think this is the worst Kansas team that we've had for the last few years. I think the Kansas days, I'm not going to say they're over, but
God, I wish they were over.
If you're going to bet Kansas from now to the end of the season against the spread, you're going to lose money. I firmly believe that because people are just living off the Kansas name.
So there's always a bias there, and that's why I said I think the line's going to come a little bit lower than the power ratings say that it should be.
Which gives us reason to bet Texas Tech.
All right. All right, great stuff, guys. Between now and Sunday, get $10 off any daily pick package for one of the handicappers filming today on WagerTalk TV using coupon code W10 when checking out.